Hey, so today I'm feeling way better than yesterday. Yesterday I was feeling really depressed still, and you can see I'll have a video up about that. And it's amazing because there's so many layers of this Candida thing. So you have to first, clear out the Candida overgrowth by starving them out by basically doing all protein, and then slowly you can start bringing stuff back into your diet once you have the Candida. So Candida is a yeast, and everyone has a yeast inside them. That is not the problem. It's the overgrowth is the problem. So if you have an environment that is yeast love gross environments. So things like when you're eating poorly, when you're drinking alcohol, things like even caffeine. They really love dirty, damp environments. They like your undigested food. They love sugar and gluten and anything basically that you're questionable if you should eat. They're all about. So you don't want that in your body because they're going to encourage you to keep eating bad things. They literally attack your brain. They can control, because they're inside you, so they can control what you think. And what they do is they tell you need more sweets or more salt or whatever, because they like salty and sweety things. And you're just always hungry, and then they're getting all your nutrients, so you just are exhausted even though you're eating so much, which makes you fat. Because if you keep eating but you're not moving, well, you're going to gain weight eventually. So that's kind of how you end up getting fat with a Candida problem. And it don't seem like that big of a thing until you get rid of it, and then you're oh my gosh, it's been plaguing me my entire life. And I think a lot of people have it. So depression, I firmly believe, is 100% connected to what you eat. And Candida is a yeast in your stomach. Well, it can be in a lot of places, but one place to be in your stomach, which affects your digestion. And so the things you eat can really affect your Candida overgrowth. Well, what happens when you have Candida overgrowth is they take over your whole mind, and they tell you all you want is sugar, and you're super irritable, and you don't feel good, and you get headaches, and you bloat, and all the Candida wants is sugar, sugar, sugar. And so if you continue to feed your sugar, then it just continues this cycle. And the longer people do that, the more depressed they get too, because they're feeling sluggish, start getting fat because they're overeating, probably eating too much sugar, and then they end up getting depressed. And so I think my mother suffered from this, and she ended up ultimately killing herself over depression. So what happens is you end up eating this food or beverage, would be caffeine, alcohol, that you think, everyone kind of knows, a lot of these things are not good for you. You'll be okay, a lot of sugar is not good for you. Caffeine, well, people go back and forth, but caffeine's not good for you. Alcohol, we know it's not good for you. But people think that you can just dabble in it and you'll be all right. But the problem is just even a little bit of it throws your whole body off course. So you can't really just say, oh, let me just do, cause what you gotta do is gluten-free, GMO-free, organic, and dairy-free. And if you steer away from those things, well, then you're gonna continue the Candida. So in order to get rid of the Candida, you have to remove those things for sure. GMOs, gotta do organics, gluten-free, dairy-free, 100%. And then I say caffeine and alcohol-free as well. But, and you gotta keep your sugar low. So even if you're doing organics, watch your amount of fruit and stuff. You can't just go crazy with your organics. You gotta still keep your sugar very low. And that's how you stay away from a lot of diseases and things like cancer even, because all of that is fed by sugar.
Hey, tell them about your new cookbook you're gonna start working on, coming out with, to help them with the recipes.
Yeah, so I'll be working on this cookbook for Candida recipes.